Hi, welcome back. Um, as you've probably noticed, there has not been a podcast in a hot minute, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And I think I should just rip off the band aid right now and say I think the podcast has reached its end, and I don't think there's going to be any more episodes. Um, First of all, I have a notes app here thing. Um, so I'm reading off of that, and this is just going to be a little bit weird. First off, Emma's not here. That doesn't mean that the reason it's ending is because me and Emma aren't friends or anything like that. We're still very great friends. She just she's in finals week right now, and then after that she's going on vacation to Hawaii for 3 weeks. So I really didn't want to take up that much of her time, but she will be here later. But I wanted to start off with just talking, just me, and then she'll come in when she has time. But yeah, there's not going to really be any big finale to the podcast, which I apologize for. And I kind of just want to sit here and talk about why. Because as much of, this podcast, Emma is a huge part of it. When it came down to it, I was the one writing, editing, hosting, doing all that stuff. So, I wanted to say why I can't really keep on doing it anymore. There's a lot of different reasons, but the biggest one is just that my life looks totally and completely different now than it did when I started this years ago. Every single part of my life is different. Every single part of the way that I function and, get my fulfillment out of life, it's all completely different, and that's normal. Change happens. And I want to focus more on things that I am now passionate about. And a lot of that is why I'm, what I'm going to school for, music and music education. I love it. And unfortunately, the podcast wasn't doing that for me anymore. And that didn't mean that I didn't love it, because I did. I freaking loved making this podcast. It was a highlight of my entire high school experience. It was so much fun. I remember being so excited to film because it just meant fun, and it meant laughter, and it meant hanging out with Emma, and it was just awesome. And I think it got to a point where it was turning into a chore, and rather than drag it out and make it something that I don't remember fondly, I think I have to end it here. A huge part of that, although I don't like to admit it, is my chronic illness, which you've heard a heck of a lot about. I know that for sure. But a lot of things have changed with that as well. I was so incredibly lucky and privileged enough to get an actual official diagnosis in the past couple of months. And it turns out, for anybody who's curious, I have 2 autonomic disorders. I have POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and then I also have OH, which is orthostatic hypotension. And basically, long story short, my brain isn't getting enough blood flow, which is what was causing all the fatigue and the brain fog and stuff like that, and what was making it really, really hard to physically sit down and write, and to physically sit down and talk, and to be on and excited and stuff like that. Stuff like that completely drains me. Right now, even though I'm not excited, I'm not, being super crazy, I have a headache in the back of my head right now because I'm sitting up and I'm talking at the same time. And that's just kind of part of my life now. And it sucks. Something I want people to understand about having a chronic illness, for anybody who knows somebody kind of in a similar situation to me, or is maybe going through it themselves, is that in our minds and in media, you think that you're going to be sick and it's going to suck and it's going to be awful. And then you're going to start to get better, and you're going to be able to do the things that you used to be able to do well. And then you're going to love it, and you're going to be so grateful that you are able to do those things. And that is true. You know, I went through that with a lot of different things, like singing. You know, there was a time when I couldn't sing and I couldn't perform, and it sucked. And then I came back to it, and I was able to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm so grateful for it. I'm never going to stop being grateful for it. And the thing is with this, and with so many other things, and something that nobody ever told me about, but I've learned is an extremely common thing for people that get sick or become disabled at some point in their life, is sometimes those things become so painful because you're never able to do them as well as you used to. And instead of being like, you know what, I'm grateful for what I have, instead it becomes a constant reminder that you're never going to be as good as you were. And that's just what kept on happening. Because I would get so excited to record and sit down and be like, I want to do this and I want to connect with the people. And I would have those moments where I suddenly forgot what I was saying, or where I was talking and laughing and having such a good time, and then I would get hit with that dizziness and nausea. And instead of, and it just made me disappointed. You know, those are things that I get to edit out. But they still really affected me. And then it was hard to, and every part of the process was hard. Every part of sitting down and writing, because I used to be able to, you know, hyper focus on something and be like, I'm going to knock this out and it's going to be great because I loved it. And then even though I still loved it, I couldn't do that. And it just was always a reminder of, oh, you can't sit down and write something quickly anymore because your brain doesn't work like that, and you forget how sentence structure works. And your brain literally can't focus on getting out what you want to get it on paper, and you have to take breaks and you have to do all that. And it was just constant reminders that I'm not where I was a couple years ago. And then the same thing with editing. I used to be able to concentrate and edit and get it out there. And I know none of my editing was great or anything. We all know this. We all know I have so many mistakes with things like that. But I used to still be able to do it quickly, and do it quickly because I loved it. And even though I still love it, I still couldn't do it quickly, and it just wore me down. It just did. And I think I've come to realize that what I need to do is I need to leave this in a positive place. And I need to stop thinking that it'll get better, because it probably won't. You know, those things are going to be things that I'm going to struggle with for a very, very long time. Yeah. Another aspect of this is that I've briefly described before, I've always had these worlds in my mind where they're the thing I think of before I go to sleep. When I daydream, I don't just daydream about individual things, they all tie into each other, and they're all in different worlds, and that's what this was for a very long time. And the thing is the literal way that my brain works now is different. After getting sick, I don't think of these big elaborate plots anymore, because my brain, I can't comprehend them. I can't remember things. I used to have such an intricate memory of everything that happened in these worlds, and I just don't anymore. And so that aspect was going to become harder. I was going to have to like go through and rewatch all my videos because I don't remember what happens in them anymore. I have lots of issues with my memory now. um, that I can't control. I have medication to help mitigate it, but there are chunks of my life that I can't remember. And I know biologically that what has happened is my brain is like, listen, this isn't important. We got to remember how to breathe and stuff. So, and so it took out a lot of, I know I'm going to cry again. This is so hard. This is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And oh my gosh, that's such a YouTuber thing to say. What am I doing? um, okay. I'm not where I was cognitively. I can't remember these things anymore. And so the idea of keeping such a long story straight and telling it I'm going to mess stuff up, and I know even if you guys don't care, I'm going to care. Yeah, it's just things like that. It's things like that where I'm like, I could do it. I could go back. I could rewatch everything. I could look through my hundreds of pages of notes. I could do all of this stuff, and it would just kill me because I didn't have to used to do that. And it wouldn't even end up being as good. So, that's why I'm ultimately deciding to be done with this, because I know that even that every time I try to return to it, it's always going to be a reminder of what I can't do. And there's just a part of me that can't work through that. And a part of me that doesn't want to work through it with this because it wants to leave this in a good place, and a place where I'm happy with it and I can just remember the good times, because there were so many good times. I freaking love this. I just loved every part of it. But, you know, things move on, things change. I'm a very different person than when I started this. And it's so good to grow up, and it sucks to grow up. But yeah. Anyway, that's why. That's why I have to stop. I have to leave it at a good place. I can't do a finale because nothing's ever going to be as good as the version that I have in my brain for how this is supposed to end, and I'm not going to make it there. Um, so I think the best choice for everything is just that's how it is, that's how it goes. I got so much stuff out there. I was able to share these crazy things that I have in my mind. And I'm just blown away that you guys stuck around. You know, Spotify Wrapped came out a little while ago, and I was shocked that anybody still listened this year. Because I was like, guys, we have not posted in, what is it, like over 6 months at least. And I was like, why are you still here? But you guys are awesome, so you are. And I checked my Instagram, and I still had DMs, and I still had people being like, oh my gosh, I just noticed this and you tied it back to this, and that made me lose my mind. Or I had this happen, and I somebody got into a car crash on Halloween night, and they were listening to me talking about Jeffrey, and they texted me about that, and I thought it was a little bit hilarious. They're fine, by the way. They're totally fine. But, you know, I feel like this has become a big part of your guys' lives, and so I didn't just want to stop posting. I wanted to make something, and I also wanted to get together with Emma and talk about some of the most iconic moments. And yeah, we're going to do that. I'm so incredibly grateful for everything, every single part of this. I have been so grateful for it. I wouldn't change it for the world. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. All right. I think we're recording everywhere we need to be recording. Who knows with me?
Okay.
It would be kind of funny if like something got super messed up like this
Just
last episode. Just like you can't see anything. Um,
yeah.
but no, I think we're good. Hi. um,
Oh,
yeah, so I basically recorded a very sad um me explaining why we're stopping. I've told you why. I didn't want to end it just with me being sad. So I asked you guys on my Instagram to send in like your favorite moments from the podcast. And so we're gonna go through some of those and we're gonna talk about some of our favorite
no.
times. And we're just gonna kind of vibe with it. But I think we should start out with what people sent in because we would always start off with questions and stuff. But let's start with the obvious. So many people said Jeffrey. He was literally like episode 3, and he was my magnum opus. I feel like, and it's all anybody ever cares about.
Jeffrey stole the show. He stole
I feel
our
like
hearts.
I feel like
He
we
was
could have
just
stopped at episode 3, and just like it would have.
that was it. That
No,
was the peak.
honestly, like
Jeffrey.
yeah, honestly, Jeffrey Slade. We all know that Jeffrey Slade. Um, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let's see, what else do we have? Prank with the clocks, pretty iconic. I enjoyed that. Um, really enjoyed the merch. Shout out to my mom and your dad.
I loved that. I love
That
my
was
shirt.
so awesome. I love my shirt too. I like never want to wash it because I want to like keep it pristine,
Keep
so
the
I don't end
print,
up
yeah.
wearing it. Yeah, but like I love it so much. I take it everywhere with me. Like I take it to college. I've never worn it here, but like
No,
I've
I
got to
have.
have it. I have it because I don't want to ruin the print. I don't want it to stretch out or anything.
Mm.
But I don't know. Maybe I gotta do it more. Um, when we were eating cake, people enjoyed that.
That was one of
Um,
my favorite parts.
just us eating cake whenever it got sad. We were like, hey,
Yeah.
here it is.
Well, I
I
think
just
I
wrote a
remember one
sad
time you were
episode.
telling me they like asked like, "Oh, like is it a birthday or something?" And you were like, "Yes."
Yes. Well, what are you gonna say? Like, no, I'm doing it for a podcast because I wrote something that was gonna make my friend feel really like sad, and so I wanted to have cake.
Yeah.
And oh, yeah, isn't it? So then I had to go and buy candles. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
scared that I was like, yeah, I need the birthday candles. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm a ball of anxiety. Anytime I'm in a grocery store, everything it's all over. Like I hate grocery stores, man. And I think part of it is because my mom would always like order groceries and we'd just go and pick them up.
Mm.
And so anytime I go into a store, it's because I'm already stressed about something, like we're fixing something or we forgot something or something. But anyway, a lot of people's favorite prank. Okay, I shouldn't say that everybody said it was Jeffrey, because a lot of people's favorite prank and favorite moment was the Ever Morty student switch. Um, and
That was
I really like that one. I think I said in that, but that's my favorite like senior prank thing.
it
Like
was so well done. Like
it's
they were
yeah,
prepared.
they were prepared, but like that's what how I got a lot of the pranks as I'm writing is I'd look up people's senior pranks, like articles written about people's senior pranks. And somebody did it where like they literally like one-on-one had students switch schedules and had them answer to that name and like just switch people going to school. And I thought that was so iconic. So, yeah. Some of my most brilliant ideas are not my most brilliant ideas, I should say that. I don't necessarily think it was plagiarism, but maybe some people think that and they're gonna like be super sad whenever they see this. They're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh," um, but yeah. Oh my gosh. Somebody brought up this. I completely forgot about this. Um, that we went live to film the first season finale. Do you remember that?
And it just like didn't we just didn't
It
record
didn't
the
really.
finale.
I've always been great at this. I've always
You guys know me. I'm perfect at YouTube and podcasting and everything. Yeah, can we just appreciate that? Can we appreciate how many freaking people have stuck around, even though I'm objectively really, really bad at like making all of this? Like, I'm just bad at it. I've never gotten it down the entire time we've been doing this. And people are like, literally my favorite podcast. And I'm like, how? Like, how does this not annoy you? Anyway,
It took
I
us
love.
like too long to set this up.
Well, yeah, it did. It took me a hot minute. Even this, like literally just getting onto Discord and recording, it took a solid
I had
while.
to re-download Discord for it.
Oh, yeah. I kind of in this whole process, I tried to do something with Discord, and I ended up making it so my Discord app does not work. Like
Oh,
it doesn't open, so I have to use the web version every time. I've like deleted it, re-downloaded it. No, it like will not open because I messed it up so bad. Anyway, don't worry about it. It's all good. Oh, let's see some other ones. Another solid one that people said was the Brad versus Bradley dichotomy. I think that was probably one of the best long-running jokes that we had the entire time.
we love
Bradley,
Brad. We don't love Bradley.
we hate Bradley. We love Brad.
We love Brad. Why
I
did we
think
end up with them being the same name, though?
because I thought that I had because we came up with Brad like while we were I think Brad came up organically, you know? And then
Yeah.
later I introduced Bradley and I didn't really realize that we already had Brad. And then
I like it.
I like it. I think it's good, but it was not intentional. If I had known, I would have come up with a different name, but I think in my mind like before we had made up Bradley was already in my mind for that character. And so then when it came to it, I was like, yeah, it's Bradley. And then I was like, we already have Brad. Okay, well, I don't know. But yeah, I like to think Brad is with all of us currently. You know, like in your class. Like in your classes at college, there's Brad. He's there. So whenever anybody gets sad about the podcast being over, remember Brad is always with you.
Brad is in your like US history class.
Yeah, yeah.
Sitting in the back.
Brad is in your calculus class. And yeah, that's pretty great. Somebody said how we get gay Regulus and then it's never followed up. And to that I would say it was supposed to be followed up. But it's not gonna happen now. So you know what? It was supposed to be followed up way later. Like later in the whole vibe of the war, like things come out and it's kind of dramatic and like interesting. But now you just get to wonder what everything's gonna be.
You're just gonna follow it up in your hearts.
Yeah, you get to you get to finish it however you want. Oh, Snuffles, you want to say something?
Woof.
Thank you, Snuffles. Thomas in general. Thomas is a great character. I would love to have him as a boyfriend in real life, and that's all I have to say. Like the sand.
He's also in the occasional calculus class.
Yeah, occasionally. Occasionally he's there. You gotta look for him though. Brad, I feel like you're never gonna be able to find Brad. You know? But like Thomas, you might be able to find Thomas. Sorry. We have so many answers that just say sand. I think that one might be one that I thought of entirely myself because I don't think I could
I don't think people were turning things into sand for their senior prank.
I don't think that's that's anything that anybody's actually ever done or figured out how to do. So I think that one was just me. Lily and James and the Centaurs. It is written.
It is written. That was the ones I was thinking of.
I love that. I love it is written, and I love to think that they just brought that up like anytime that it was like I don't know. I don't want to say that they would like go through periods of being like, well, maybe we need to break up or something, and they'd be like, it is written. We have to stay together, or something like that. I don't know. But I like to think that they just brought that up. But eventually, you know, they realize at some point. I think they realize when she's pregnant with Harry and Dumbledore comes in, he's like, "Hey, yo, this prophecy is happening." And
And they're
like
just like, yeah, it was
it might
written.
be yours, it might be yours, or it might be
No.
yeah, it might be Neville, it might be the Longbottoms, and they both know that it's them because it is written, you know. So they know. Sorry, you good?
I just got kicked out for a second.
Oh, okay. But I was saying, like, you know, when Dumbledore tells them it could either be you or the Longbottoms, they know that it's them because they're like, we were told this ages ago.
Yeah. He's like, this
We
is
were
old
told
news,
Yeah,
Dumbledore.
they're like, oh shoot, like this kid is literally gonna defeat Voldemort, and they know that from like the beginning. Anyway, that's where it came from. That's why it is written as important because I think that they had to know, from the beginning that it was gonna be him and not Neville. Sorry, Neville, about that. Every single Jeffrey cameo. It's just there's so many Jeffreys. Remus having a sister is definitely my favorite part. Okay, now that we're not gonna finish it, this is how the last episode was gonna go. It was gonna be.
If you
Chill
say
out,
she
Snuggles.
dies, I am kicking
No,
Craig
no.
out.
Emmeline
Okay.
survives everything because I
Okay.
needed some solace. I needed somebody to do it. But how it was gonna end was, you know, we know that Harry ends up taking care of Teddy. And I think at one point, Harry finds a bunch of journals of Remus's and gives them to Teddy, and Teddy reads it and basically reads everything that we've gone through in the podcast. Reads all of the stories, and he finds out that Remus had a sister because Remus never brought it up because he never wanted her to get involved in any of the wars. And they go find Emmeline. And so Emmeline meets Teddy, and it's like that's how it would end. So that's where it was going with that. Yeah, I think that she would love that, and I think that that would be awesome. And I think that Emmeline would have like a great family and everything. She gets the best happy ending of anybody in that entire series. So
That's
yeah,
good.
I know my heart rate's going up. You're okay. You go crate? Peace? She's like, no. Somebody said Snuffle snoring was their favorite part of the podcast. Maybe I should make an ASMR channel and it's just Snuffle snoring.
Just that's what this becomes.
She does that a lot. She snores a lot. When the somebody said when the alarm goes off when you said and James said the timer
Liked
going
that.
off because of the camera. Oh my word. I can't believe I never got good at like any of this. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. You'd think that like I would. It literally we started this 2020? Like, come on. Like I had to have gotten better. And I just never did. Anyway. The bloody handprint. That was a great
I loved the bloody handprint.
I think that one came that's also not a prank that I looked up, I don't think. Because it wasn't really a prank in general. But I think that came from genuinely I read The Prisoner of Azkaban and Sirius had like a bloody handprint left on like the like on the portrait or something. And I thought it would be funny if Remus sees that and he's like, what do I do?
The bloody
He's like, no. He's like genuinely upset because he thinks he's Loki a murderer, but at the same time he's like, it's the bloody handprint. Lily refusing to sleep out of spite. A great episode. That's been a long time story in my head. Those are kind of the main ones. Like the ones that I've seen repeated a whole lot. Somebody said Lily losing control of her magic on Snape, #girlboss queen slay. And I fully agree with the hashtag. Yeah. That's a great it was definitely a girl boss queen slay moment. Oh, I forgot about this too. Remember when we recorded an episode at 5 a.m.? That was insane.
What? We were dedicated, that's for sure.
We were dedicated at that point. Imagine healthy me like being dedicated to the podcast. That was a crazy time. When I like had the energy to do things like that, that was
To wake up
crazy.
at 5 a.m.
To
just
wake
on
up
a
at 5
random.
a.m. I couldn't even. Okay, here's the thing. Me and Emma had Bible study before school, so we were already getting up early for that. So we decided to wake up even earlier before that to record an episode of the podcast. By the end of that year, I couldn't even go to the Bible study or school.
Yeah.
Or school most of the time. Like, I stopped going. I didn't. Everybody else got a little certificate that said that they had graduated because they had gone the whole time they went through high school. Guess who didn't qualify to get that certificate because she stopped going halfway through the year. Anyway, it was very upsetting. But yeah, I cannot believe that we did that. I cannot believe we recorded at 5 a.m. And like, it wasn't bad. Like, you would think it
Yeah.
would just be us being like, buh. But we were like, fine. Crazy. Lily and James going to a Queen concert.
That whole episode was so good. I love that one.
That's a lot of people's favorite episode. A Queen, the Queen, the
It
Queen.
had a real, because it wasn't serious at the end, and that was sad.
Yeah.
I did not like that part, but the rest I liked.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, that's a lot of people's favorite episode, and I don't know, that's not one that jumps out to me as being like a favorite of mine.
That
So
one
it's
was
always
just, it was just
interesting.
a fun summertime episode. I liked
That
it.
was pretty good. The first response I got to this entire poll was somebody saying you guys laughing, and that made me really, really happy and like, oh, that's really sweet. This one person said, "You're gonna hate me, but whenever the audio or video cut out, lol."
My favorite part about this podcast was when I couldn't see or hear the podcast.
It's so true. You know what's actually kind of incredible? With all the issues that we had, we never had both audio and visual go out ever.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? And it was mostly visual. The audio was pretty much okay a good amount of the time. But yeah, that's kind of funny. We always had something. We always managed to make it.
Yeah.
We never had to re-record any episodes or like reactions or anything.
I remember
know
we
there was
like
one
thought
time-
about doing it one time.
There was one time we got close. I don't remember why. Oh, I think it was because like there's one episode where it's like all of it. Like we got like maybe 5 minutes of footage at the beginning and the whole rest is just audio. And I think we considered re-recording that one, but we didn't end up doing it. I think that was it. I had you send if you watch it on YouTube, it's a slideshow of just like random pictures. And like some of it is like childhood pictures from both of us. Anyway, it's kind of funny. There's a lot of good things on here, but I think that's a good chunk of what people have said is their favorite. I don't think I missed like a common one. Yeah. Anyway, what was your favorite?
I really liked the Queen concert one. That one was just fun. And I liked all the characters. They were just fun. Like, I feel like even all the like random like people we only saw like a few times, they were still just so good. And I just liked them. I live for a good background character. As a Marauders fan.
Literally so true. But I think that's what I ended up. I think that's part of really why I ended up wanting to make this. Because I just mapped out, I got spreadsheets of every character that has ever existed in my version. And there's like a bunch that we never even mentioned. We never mentioned, oh gosh, it's not Xenophilius Lovegood. I know where he fits in my story, but we never talked about him. But his wife, she was gonna have some background moments, and that's still in my mind, but we didn't ever get to it. There was never a good time to put it in. But like, that's the thing about me. Like, I don't know, just that was just my my daydreaming stuff, all of my daydreaming worlds, because I this isn't the only one. I have a couple, and yeah, they all have like these detailed background characters, and that's just kind of how I, just kind of those things, and I always did that, and I really didn't realize that like not a ton of people do that. You know, if people, I always thought that's what everybody was talking about when they talked about like daydreaming and stuff, that you had like detailed characters and stuff. And what's funny is I know that um my brother Sam does the same thing. He always did the same thing as a kid. I haven't talked to him about it recently. But yeah, same thing as a kid. He had this whole world with like detailed side characters. He tried to write it out. It was just too much to do, but I know he wrote hundreds of pages about his whole world and stuff. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe that just came from me being homeschooled and like kind of bored and not having a whole lot to do. um, and so maybe that's where it came from. But yeah, I hadn't seen anybody else create a Marauder story with so many background characters.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so I don't know. It was really cool. Yeah, oh yeah, somebody said this. Somebody mentioned that their favorite episode was with you and your siblings. And that made me realize that that episode was 2 years ago. That made me realize that episode
Wow.
was literally
Oh, yeah.
because it was before Michael left for 2 years. And he's back.
That's
Crazy to me.
Oh my gosh.
But
they all three of them look like the exact same person now.
They do. They look, yeah. They're very similar, low key. You look different from I think it's just that they all have short hair. You look,
they all have like the same like haircut, and they're all getting to like almost the same height.
It's so funny. I love that. Let's finish this up. I think now it's my turn to like say something that I really enjoyed from the podcast, and I legitimately have no idea. I've been thinking about this for a very long time. I cannot think of a favorite episode or a favorite thing. So I'm not sure. Cause it's like, well, all of them, like I wrote and I like and I did and stuff and so, but I think my favorite reoccurring prank or thing that came back up, it was either sand or the bloody handprint. And when I think about my favorite moment, one that comes to mind, I think this is just, I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Oh.
But I really like that moment where Sirius and Remus are kissing in that secret passageway that no one else knows about except for Regulus, and then Regulus walks in. For some reason, that's like my favorite like thing that I think about when I think about my favorite moment, because it's just so perfect. Because Sirius is like, they're both like, nah, no one's gonna hear about this, and then it's like the one person that like they would definitely not want to hear about it, like a really like not good person to see it. And of course, and like it's of course Sirius should have known and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like that's just like one of my favorite like random off moments from the podcast. Because really beyond that, I'm like, I don't know. There's so many.
I also liked when I think it was Marlene just randomly had that raven.
That's okay. I'm gonna be so real. That's not written in the script. That's not anywhere. I don't know where that came from. That was while we were talking, Marlene had a raven. And now I
need to rewatch these because I feel like I don't even know what happened.
Dude, exactly. And like what the last one was posted like 7 months ago. Like this is from a while ago. We're kind of reaching with our memories. And that's the other thing. I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to watch them through myself.
I don't like listening to myself.
Exactly. It's hard to listen to yourself back. And so it's hard to know. But I really like those. Those were kind of my favorite moments. Oh, and probably a good Jilly moment. I really like that moment where Lily wakes up and like James has written her the note and stuff from when she was sleep deprived and she finally fell asleep and stuff. I think that's a great moment between them, and also just like the friend group in general when they were all like, get out of the dorm, she finally fell asleep, I really like that. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to leave it there because if I keep on going through things that I like, it's just gonna be the whole podcast. So sorry about that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I just it's been a really great time.
Mhm.
No. It's been pretty darn awesome. And I'm so glad that you agreed to do this with me because I would never do it
It's been
alone.
so fun. I
I
have
would
loved it.
I would never do this alone. I was like, literally, I will only because I had people on my TikTok being like, you need to write a fan fiction. I tried to write one chapter. I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm not that good of a writer. I'm good at writing essays. I can't write narrative stuff. As referenced in my notes. You've seen my
That
notes.
was one of my other favorite things. Was I like sometimes I would look over.
They only ever made sense
I
to
couldn't
me.
even like read it sometimes. Some of it was not like actual words. Like especially like the really, really early on ones.
Oh yeah, they got more detailed as I went on, for sure. And especially after I got sick and I was like, I'm not going to remember things in the moment. But the first couple ones were like just to jog my memory. And so they were things that only made sense to me. And it was just wild. I don't like seriously, people keep on being like, I want to see what the notes you look like from that you look at look like. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because you're going to look at this and be like, what does this mean? Like, there were times when I was like, oh, I gotta hide this from Emma because she's gonna read it and she's gonna know it and then it's not gonna be as surprising. But then there were other times I'm like, she could read everything on this page and would not understand what's going on. So, anyway, I love that. But yeah, so I would not have done this without you. And that's another thing I want to talk about. I want to get people's opinions because the thing we're not sure if we want to stop doing a podcast together. You know? But the thing that I'm sure about is that I can't keep on writing this story and I can't keep on talking about this and I can't keep on scripting and stuff like that. But if we have more of a lot of people know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I just watch it because I like to hear you guys talk to each other." Um, which is super
That's why I
sweet.
like this most because I like
No, we just
especially
get to
once we
talk
like
to each
moved
other.
away was I just got to like talk to you like
I
and I had like a
know. And
scheduled time too.
I know we had a scheduled time to talk to each other, and it was like good. It is good to catch up because yeah, in college, if you go to a different college than your friend, it's really hard to like keep in touch with them, um, stuff. But yeah, so we're not sure if we want to stop doing a podcast. It just might have to be a different podcast. And so here's some of the so so I'd love to hear in the comments and in the responses and stuff like that. Um, what you'd be interested in hearing us talk about that's not the Marauders related. That's not Harry Potter related. Just life. Um, the one that keeps on coming back. I'm like not even committed to it, but it's just the one that keeps on coming back that I feel like we might be really entertaining about is maybe we start a
Oh.
podcast where we just interpret your dreams, you know? Because Emma has some wild dreams. Emma has wild dreams. And I feel like every time she
I
tells
feel
me
like
a
we would
dream,
need to bring up that one time where you were in my dream at Panera.
yes, we were at Panera. I think we've told this. I think
Probably.
we've told this 2 other times because I remember we talked about it once and somebody was like, "You've already told this dream before." But it's a crazy dream where
I for
I
sure didn't give all the details on here,
or
but like
yeah,
it
no, it was bonkers and I ghosted you. In what world would I do that? And like that's the thing. I'm like, what does that dream mean? Did you really think like were you worried about me abandoning you? Like was it
the
something?
weirdest part was there.
Yeah, we don't know why he was there. We But I don't know, maybe we could delve into like and you gotta understand, like you wouldn't be submitting your dreams to get legitimate responses.
Oh no.
No, no. We speculate wildly. Um, I don't know. I feel like just something that we can get down and sit down and talk together. might be a fun little thing, but also there's all the things where it's like, teenage boys thinking that people actually want to hear their opinions on things and they start a podcast. So I don't really want to do that. I don't just want to be like, I don't know. But maybe we just have like a weekly. See, I don't feel qualified to give like advice, but maybe we do a little advice thing where we just and like it's not really serious because we don't know anything about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like little problems, like roommate issues or like maybe we look through like the excuse my French, but like am I the asshole Reddit and stuff like that. We go through, we give opinions on that. I don't know. Might be fun. So yeah, if anybody has like good ideas about that, leave it in the comments. We're gonna keep an eye out for that. DM me if you want. DM me your dreams. No, keep an eye out on my Instagram because if we end up doing anything like that, it would be on Instagram. I haven't posted anything on TikTok in forever. And that's because whenever I go on TikTok, I end up becoming really depressed about the world in general. So we don't go on there as much anymore. I don't know. I feel like we could give some not like good opinions. Good
We could give
opinions.
some opinions.
We could. We sure could. And that's something that we can like that's the other thing I really liked about this podcast was inviting friends on it. I really truly enjoyed getting together with friends and people that like, maybe you didn't really even know very well. And I love to have an environment where you could invite people that I don't know and we could like kind of do that kind of vibe. But yeah, I can't do something where I have to write out a script. I could do something where I could compile things that we're going to look at together. Sit down and
we
do
could
that.
review our bad movie Friday movies.
That's low-key a good idea. We
watched some weird things.
Hold on. For a while, me and Emma and Swanky Town had
and one of Swanky's friends.
And one of Swanky's friends. We would get together and have Bad Movie Friday, which doesn't sound good
I don't know if they were ever
all.
on Friday.
And they were for like the first two. But we'd get together, we'd watch on like Netflix Party or whatever, and we'd watch a bad movie together. Yeah, we could do that. We could take suggestions for bad movies and then just sit down after the fact. We could watch them maybe independently because sitting down together would take a lot of time. But we could watch them independently and then come together and talk about it, and that could be our little podcast.
That would be funny. It would be funny for me.
That would be good. Yeah, that might be a good time. Anyway, there's lots of different things we could do, but I want to keep the Elizabeth and Emma channel alive, even if it's pretty casual. Just I can't sit down and I can't do scripted stuff anymore, and that's fine because people change and people's lives change and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's really what I kind of wanted to talk about here, but I also know it's been 7 months. Do you want to like tell people what you're doing, what you're up to? You want to share like
know what I'm up to?
Do you know what your major is now for sure?
Yes.
You've changed it quite a bit, but yeah.
I have changed my major quite a bit. But so right now we're sophomores.
Yes.
As far as I know. School starts tomorrow, so that's a party.
Tomorrow. Yes, we should say that. This is like night before classes start for us. I also want you guys to know I didn't look to see if I needed any textbooks until literally yesterday. Literally.
I just wait and I wait for the professors to tell me what I need.
That's fair. But for music stuff, usually it's like they want you to have it the first day.
Yeah.
Like they want you to have whatever music book we're working from like first day. I didn't I literally went yesterday and got all of them, and I'm so lucky that they were all in stock because it's literally the day before classes start. I got insanely lucky with that. But yeah, so I'm still doing choral education. I still really love it. Other update about my life that you may have seen on my Instagram, because I did a little bit of explaining about why there weren't episodes, is that Snuffles has upgraded herself. This isn't something I fully shared a whole lot, but I got Snuffles as purely an emotional support animal, I just needed something to come with me when I went to college because I went quite a ways away. Then she started alerting to my heart rate episode. Oh, that's a big update. I got diagnosed.
Have you not updated? Oh, okay.
We have not said that what I actually have. So I have POTS and I have orthostatic hypotension. POTS means yay. They're both not good, and you're not really supposed to get diagnosed with both of them. Like usually the low blood pressure comes with POTS, like that's just a thing that happens. But my blood pressure went so incredibly low that they were like, we have to give you 2 diagnoses for this because this is too much to just be associated with your POTS. This has got to be something separate. But yes, so POTS means heart rate goes up when I stand, and orthostatic hypotension means that my blood pressure drops when I stand. Yeah. So anyway, so that's a big update. But Snuffles can freaking smell my heart rate. And she's gotten really good at it and can tell me when I'm going to have an episode. The reason she was coming over and telling me is because I definitely have a low blood pressure headache right now. And she was going to tell me that I was going to have one. And so, I wanted to do this, so I didn't go lay down. But usually it's helpful for her to tell me because then I go lay down and it's awesome. So I am public access training her to be a full service dog. And it's like a full-time job. So that's another big time constraint of my stuff. So, that's been another really big thing in my life that we've been doing, but she's doing pretty good. She wasn't usually service dogs are temperament tested before they start training and stuff like that. She didn't get that, but she's doing shockingly well. So we're going to keep on going with that, but we'll see. She might not be able to make it where she can come everywhere with me. That just might not be in the cards for her, but she's doing pretty good. Yeah, so that's basically all my big life updates. Yeah. Anyway, about you, your major and stuff.
Okay, so I am major as of right now, and I hope it stays. But
No,
I'm majoring in.
You never shared your major on the podcast because you were always scared it was going to change.
Okay, so it has changed, and so now I'm majoring in statistics, and so I am just like packing credits in as much as I can. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Any life-changing things happen for you? I had quite a lot happen this past semester. A lot happened this past semester. Life be crazy.
I don't know. I feel like I had like a normal semester last semester, and I think that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I wish. That's it. I wish I had that. Anyway, I really let's wrap this up a little bit. We've just kind of been talking.
I do need to eat dinner at some point.
Yes, I know, and I need to eat dinner too. So we're gonna wrap this up. And try not. It
has gotten so much darker. Just in my background.
Yeah, the sun just went down. So, we're far away, but we're on the same, like,
we're
parallel, So
same strip.
Yeah. Anyway, just I really have enjoyed doing this. This has been such a positive experience, and I'm sad that it has to end so weirdly and abruptly. But I also, it's time. I don't feel like I should be pushing it further. I feel like we just gotta appreciate it for what it was, and it was so fun, and it had so many awesome moments, and yeah. Yeah, any final thoughts?
I'm just glad you let me be a part of this, because it has just been really fun.
I wouldn't have done it with anyone else, literally. It would not have happened if you weren't here. So hopefully this is gonna be the end of this last episode of the Marauders Elizabeth version. But hopefully we do something else. Let us know what maybe you'd like to see. And then we'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you for everybody who's been involved with this, who's helped out with random things. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. Bye.
Okay, we're gonna call Dylan. All right. If they don't pick up, I'm gonna be mad. Hello? Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm so sorry. Do you want me to call you back later?
No, I don't even know what time it is. I probably need to wake up.
It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
Oh my god.
I just have to tell you something really quick and then I'll let you go.
No, you're so fine.
I am recording something right now, and it is the very last episode of The Marauders Elizabeth's version. And I had people send in things that they loved the most. And I gotta tell you, like, I got a good amount, like a solid probably 15 people responded and said that their favorite part of the entire podcast was your transition music.
Oh my god.
Do you remember even?
I do. That's probably my greatest accomplishment of the last 10 years.
I know. I think it was fantastic. I just wanted to tell you that, and also, do you have any words to say, any parting words?
Can I wake up a little bit and just tell you that later?
Yes, absolutely.
Hi. I know this is the last episode. Elizabeth asked me to say something, and of course I wanted to. I was told I was given an outpouring of love from you guys, so thank you so much for the love you've given to me, love you've given to Elizabeth. I really appreciate you guys just letting me be my silly little goofy self on the camera, introducing the world to my transition music, which, as previously mentioned, is one of the best accomplishments of the last 10 years of my life. I appreciate just all the support you guys have given the podcast, and then that you've given to Elizabeth. She's one of my most favorite people. She's been my best friend for a very long time, and I'm so very proud of her. And all the work that she's done and all the support that you guys have given her. She deserves the world, and you guys are just absolutely incredible to her. So thank you so much for that. I'm glad to hear that my transition music resonated with so many of you, and just my general vibe, I guess, resonated with many of you, which is always nice to hear. So thank you guys for the love. Mwah. Hope to see you again soon. Yay.
Is this Elizabeth from the hit podcast, The Marauders Elizabeth's version?
In fact, it is.
No way, dude.
And guess what?
What?
You're on an episode of the podcast right now.
I'm on an episode of the podcast right now?
Yeah, I'm recording one. In fact,
oh my gosh.
It is the very, very last episode.
The very last? Oh my gosh.
And I asked people to send in their favorite moments from the entire podcast, and several people said you.
Oh my gosh.
So
honored.
This is calling you to congratulate you. And also people specifically liked your Snilch fan fiction, and I just want to say I'm disgusted. I hate that.
It was a work of art.
I hate that was some people's literal favorite memory of the podcast. Was
Dude,
first of all,
there's a TikTok account named after Snilch.
Oh my word.
I've created worlds here.
Oh my gosh. I'm not proud of it.
All I'm saying is that if we want to start a spin-off podcast called Snilch Jasmine's version, I wouldn't be opposed.
Maybe, sure.
I'll take the maybe.
Okay. Yeah, well, do you have any parting words? I just want to reach out to people real quick.
I just want to say to all of my fans, all of my supporters, thank you for always being there for me. Thank you to everyone who believed in me. Thank you to my mom. She's a real one.
What about my mom? What about Katie?
Also, Katie's great.
Okay.
Also, actually, Elizabeth.
Yep.
My first episode on the podcast was before I came out. I am now a year on HRT.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Not yet a year on HRT, but in a week, I'll be a year on HRT.
That's so awesome.
So, Your podcast has watched me grow.
They really have. They watched me grow a lot too. I just basically cried in front of this camera for a while. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
All right. Bye, Elizabeth.
Love you so much. Thank you for being on the pod. You're iconic.
Of course. Bye, Elizabeth.
Bye. She answers like that every single time I call her.